Hello and welcome to this episode of the 10-Minute Financial Essentials. We're going to cover gift aid in this session from two perspectives, the charities and the donors. I'd like to start with some startling statistics. Firstly, 20% of donors do not tick the gift aid declaration box, which means that charities are missing out on approximately £560 million per year. And perhaps even more startling is that 80% of higher rate taxpayers aren't claiming their eligible tax rebate. Now, why is that? There are generally three reasons. Because it's too much hassle, for privacy, or I think the most likely, they are unaware that it exists. In this webinar, we're going to take proactive steps to improve both these statistics. I'm Paul Foden, the CEO of Eden Accounting and a relative newcomer to charity accounting. But I'm keen to share what I have learned while we've been building these features into our specialist software, Eden.Charities. Sometimes a fresh perspective can be very helpful. We'll start at the beginning with how the scheme works. It is remarkably generous, so it's worth understanding properly. Gift aid is paid out of income tax. The basic rate is paid to the charity, and the higher rate, less what has been paid to the charity, is given as a tax rebate, effectively cash, to the donor. Now, the income tax rates in Scotland are different from the rest of the UK, but that does not matter. The scheme works the same there too. Let's look at a simple example. A £100 donation is grossed up by the basic rate tax to £125. So the 25p gift aid amount that everyone talks about is actually 1 divided by the basic rate of income tax. The tax rebate for a donor is calculated from this gross amount. In this example, for a 45% taxpayer, 20% has already gone to the charity, but 25% is still available as tax relief. That's £31.25. So effectively, for a net donation of £68.25, the charity has received £125, almost double, a fabulous multiplier. Which is why we need to make the scheme easier for everyone. The rules are pretty simple. Vitally, you must be a UK taxpayer, and the maximum you can claim is the income tax you pay in the tax year. Or else, theoretically at least, HMRC can come after you for the overclaim. The declaration itself can be made very flexibly, over the phone, on a form, on the web, almost by pigeon, with the minimum of identification details, just your address and postcode. Now, in a charity shop, the gift aid is given on the value of the clothes that you've donated, not on any purchases. The clothes are a donation for which you've received nothing. For your cash purchase, you receive goods in return. That is not a donation. There is also the small donation scheme for anonymous cash or contactless credit card donations. These should be less than £30 each, but how anyone checks that, I do not know. There are further detail restrictions, but we won't go into those now. Instead, we'll focus on how to make these claims as easily as possible. Now, there are two ways to submit gift aid claims. Firstly, the old way, using Excel spreadsheets available from the HMRC website. We are not going to cover this process in this webinar. Instead, we will use Eden.Charities to illustrate the process. Now, the Eden software is organised into 8 apps, which you can see in the Chrome labels at the top of this page. Each of these corresponds to a different finance operation. The Charities app contains the charity-specific functionality like the sort reports, the charity analysis codes, and of course, gift aid. Clicking on the gift aid tab, we can see a list view of the non-submitted HMRC's term, not ours, gift aid donations. This is our pinned list. Alternatively, we could look at any of the others, such as the non-submitted small donation scheme items. When we want to submit new items, we click on the Gift Aid Submission button. This presents our Gift Aid submission screen with a selection of filters to allow us to narrow the range of our submission. You can submit both donor and small donation scheme items at the same time, or segregate them if you prefer. You can also export your list to Excel if you wish. Either way, make your selection and hit Submit. You get a success message, and that is it. It can take a few days before they're processed by HMRC, but you can monitor them with the list views that we saw earlier, and that's all there is to it. So the submission process is easy, but we also want to encourage you to send out something that we've called a donor activity statement to your donors. This will make it easier for them to claim the gift aid rebate. We also think it'll reflect well on you as a charity and help strengthen your relationship with your vital supporters. The sending out of these statements can be automated and the covering email personalised with instructions onto how to make a claim. And if you are automating, why not send out reminders to those donors who are eligible and have not yet claimed gift aid? As we have seen, it will help both you and them. Going back to Eden, we can create one-off donor activity statements from the Sales app. Click on Accounts to select the one you're looking for, in our case, Finley Davis. We go to the Donor Activity tab and select the relevant tax year. This displays a PDF of the donor activity statement with the net and gross amounts of his donations during the period, which you can then email off to him. So that's it in a nutshell. Gift aid is a relatively simple and generous scheme that all UK registered charities should sign up to. Thank you for listening, and see you on the next one.